In a recent annual study conducted by the Bureau of Labour Statistics, there were over 5,000 work fatalities, an almost 9% increase from the previous year. The transportation industry had the highest number of work-related fatalities, accounting for almost 30% of the deaths. Statistically speaking, across all industries, this means that approximately once every 100 minutes, a worker passes away from a work-related injury. Not all injuries are fatal, of course. There are also hundreds of thousands of non-fatal work-related injuries and illnesses every year. Fractures, sprains, tears, cuts, bruises, thermal and chemical burns, and tendonitis are all examples of common workplace injuries. Being able to recognize hazards that can cause injury or illness and how to predict and prevent them is essential for the safety of everyone in the workplace. In this course, we'll be discussing why injuries, illnesses, and incidents occur in the workplace, what the common types of workplace hazards are and examples of each, how to prevent incidents by conducting periodic inspections, job safety analysis reports, and root cause analysis reports when necessary, and how to report injuries, illnesses, incidents, and near misses. Before we can talk about hazard recognition and the types of hazards, it's important to first define what exactly is a hazard. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, defines a hazard as the potential for harm and something, if left uncontrolled, that can result in injury or illness. So why do injuries, illnesses, and incidents occur within the workplace? The main reason these occur in the workplace is failing to identify and recognize that there's a hazard present to begin with. Awareness is key. Once identified, these hazards should be controlled or eliminated as soon as possible to prevent injury or illness. The review of possible hazards for any job, procedure, or protocol should be completed periodically. How often these should be done depends on the type of job and equipment being used. Exactly what types of typical hazards exist within the workplace? To be able to identify and recognize hazards, you must know what to look for and the types of hazards that could exist. Let's explore some of the most common ones. Keeping a work or storage area clean and uncluttered, often referred to as general housekeeping, will help to prevent trips, slips, and falls. Trips, slips, and falls can cause fractures, tissue damage, bruises, lacerations, or worse to the body. If something spills on the floor, or if there is a wire out in the open, someone may not see it. It's important to remove a spill or tripping hazard immediately to prevent injury. In addition, some jobs require work to be done from a ladder or scaffold, where a person could fall down and hurt themselves or others if they drop an object below. Following proper protocol when working above ground level is key. There are several types of chemical hazards that could exist within the workplace. Chemicals can be toxic, flammable, corrosive, or explosive. If exposed to a toxic or corrosive chemical on the skin or through inhalation, injury or illness could occur. Referring to the safety data sheets, or SDSs, and wearing proper personal protective equipment, PPE, can help prevent this. For chemicals that are flammable or explosive, storing them properly and keeping them away from ignition sources should prevent injury. Fires can cause burns and damage to bodily tissues and organs, as well as damage to equipment or buildings. Some examples of electrical hazards include short-circuiting, loss of power, overheating, and the production of static electricity. If something short-circuits, it could lead to electrical shock of a worker. If there's loss of power, electrical equipment or machinery will stop working and could cause injury. If something overheats or static electricity is produced, the equipment may be damaged or a fire might start. Ensuring that wires are grounded, as well as being mindful while working with electrical equipment, can help prevent these potential hazards from causing injury. Some examples of mechanical hazards include mechanical breakdown or failure and crushing or tearing of the body. Over time, equipment and machinery parts, such as belts or hoses, begin to break down and need to be replaced. It's important to schedule regular maintenance on all equipment and machinery to prevent mechanical breakdown and failure. Most machinery also has fast-moving or sharp components that could lead to cutting, crushing, or tearing of the skin and other body parts. While working with machinery and other tools or equipment, always wear proper PPE and follow all safety protocols. OSHA defines ergonomics as the science of adapting workstations, tools, and equipment to be compatible with human anatomy and physiology, which basically means fit the job to the person, not the person to the job. Ergonomic hazards include those that can cause wear and tear on the body, leading to strains or sprains and other injuries. These types of tissue damage can occur from overexerting yourself, using improper technique when lifting heavy objects, or from too much repetition of the same movement. Being aware of hazards and taking proper action as needed should help to prevent these types of injuries. Other hazards include workplace violence, bad weather, and exposure to loud noises or radiation. OSHA keeps a record of the top 10 hazards cited during inspections across all industries each year. In a recent study, some of the citations included respiratory protection, eye and face protection, as well as several related to fall protection in the construction industry. Now that we've reviewed several common hazards in the workplace, let's discuss the protocols followed in the workplace to help prevent incidents from occurring. If there are chemicals on site, SDSs should be available to everyone exposed to these chemicals. For all equipment and machinery on site, operating manuals should be readily available. All employees should also receive training prior to any and all jobs they will be completing. There may also be additional reports available for review, including risk assessments, injury and illness records, as well as job and safety analysis, root cause analysis, and inspection reports. Let's dive a little deeper into a few of these now. Hazards can be created over time and tend to compound as a workspace is used and equipment ages. That makes it very important to perform periodic inspections of work and storage areas, as well as tools and equipment and machinery. These inspections are necessary because equipment and tools get older and worn out. Regular maintenance on machinery may not always be completed, and work and storage areas will become cluttered over time. Depending on what is being inspected, safety tests may be run on equipment, photos may be taken, and a report will be written with anything that needs to be corrected. A new project or job may bring in new procedures or equipment, which could cause new hazards to arise. Often, instead of an inspection report, a job safety analysis is completed for this new procedure or project. What is a job safety analysis? A job safety analysis, also known as a job hazard analysis, is a process that breaks a job down into steps, identifies the possible hazards before they occur, and provides ways to reduce and eliminate these hazards to reduce the risk of injury or illness. This also leads to more effective procedures for the given task, higher productivity, and lower costs. A job safety analysis is often completed whenever there is a job being completed for the first time or when there's been a near miss. A near miss or a close call is when there was no property or bodily damage, but with a very small chance in movement or time there could have been. This brings awareness to the potential dangers and warrants investigation. After breaking the job down into smaller steps or tasks, each step is examined for possible hazards. These possible hazards are anything that could cause injury, illness, or a close call. Next, the underlying causes of the hazard is determined by asking questions. Some examples of the questions that may be asked and answers include: is PPE needed? Could the worker fall, slip, or trip? Are there any sharp edges or other safety concerns with the equipment in use? After all necessary questions on the possible hazards have been asked and answered, the steps are reviewed to determine if there is a safer way to do the job. This is referred to as hazard control. There are several types of hazard controls that are used within the workplace, which is illustrated in the hierarchy of controls pyramid. Can steps be combined or reorganized? Could a safer piece of equipment be used to accomplish the task? These are questions considered as decisions are being made. Finally, detailed and clear procedures are written up on exactly how to be careful during each step of the job, and employees are properly trained. Even when being safe and careful, injuries, illness, or near misses do still occur. OSHA and the EPA encourages employers to complete a root cause analysis when they do, to help prevent future incidents. OSHA states that a root cause is a fundamental, underlying, system-related reason why an incident occurred that identifies one or more correctable system failures. This should not focus on who is to blame, but instead focus on determining the actual root causes. There are usually more than one, and fixing them. In this type of analysis, it's important to go beyond just the immediate cause of the incident or near miss and dive deeper for the real reasons it's occurred. For example, if someone slips on liquid on the floor, the immediate cause may be that a piece of equipment is leaking. You must go beyond this and ask, why is it leaking and what caused it to leak in the first place? It's important to ask all types of questions during a root cause analysis. Some sample questions may include: what happened? How did it happen? Why did it happen? How do we fix it? After the root cause or causes are determined, steps are taken as needed to correct the issue to help prevent future incidents similar in nature. When work-related injuries, both fatal and non-fatal, or illnesses occur, they must be reported appropriately. OSHA requires that they are notified of all work-related fatalities within 8 hours of the death, and of all serious injuries, including loss of an eye, amputation, or in-hospital stay within 24 hours of the injury. All fatalities that occur within 30 days of a work-related injury must be reported. If a motor vehicle accident occurs on a public road, except if it's within a construction zone or on public transportation, it does not need to be reported. Near misses or close calls are also not reported to OSHA. How are these reports made, and by whom? The supervisor or manager working at the time of the incident is usually the person that's making the report. Reporting can be completed over the phone by calling 1-800-321-OSHA, in person at the nearest OSHA office, or submitted electronically using the forms available on OSHA's website. Although near misses are not reported to OSHA, these must be reported internally to the appropriate supervisor. Your employer may have a specific form that they ask to be completed if a near miss or close call occurs. These forms usually ask for a description of the near miss, where it occurred, the type of the possible hazard, if safety procedures were violated and which ones, and why the unsafe act was committed or what caused the unsafe condition. As we conclude our study on hazard identification, recognizing hazards, let's review some of the key concepts we've discussed. We explored common workplace hazards in various categories and why workplace injuries, illnesses, and incidents occur. We discussed methods employers proactively use to prevent injuries from occurring, including periodic inspections and job safety analysis reports. We also discussed the protocol that must be followed to report workplace injuries, illnesses, and incidents, as well as how a root cause analysis can prevent similar future incidents from taking place. Being able to identify possible hazards in the workplace and using hazard controls to reduce or eliminate them promotes a safe and productive work environment for all. Remember, awareness is key to keep both you and your co-workers from being injured while at work. If you recognize a hazard or potential hazard, inform your supervisor and follow proper protocol to ensure the danger is eliminated as soon as possible. As needed, seek out additional training to help stay up to date on all rules and regulations.